All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Woo, 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 woo. Today, we're doing a full mix breakdown of one of my favorite songs. It's my song. It should be out on all platforms still, called Life. Um, this is one of my favorite songs I've mixed, and I may change the EQ on this because this is a slightly older mix. I haven't touched this mix in a minute, but I'm finna just play the full song through and show you what I did, and then I'm gonna deactivate. And before y'all say anything, I master my songs on the master bus. Yes, I know some people master their shit by making a completely separate session and doing that. I do both, but honestly, in my experience, it's dead ass not that much of a difference, bro. It's not that much of a difference from doing it the other way. If you want to get into the logistics and the little what's right and what's wrong, at the end of the day, if your song sounds good, your song sounds good. So let's just get straight into the playback, and then I'm gonna break down what I did on this song here and showcase all of the everything, because it's a lot of vocals, a lot of layers, a lot of stacks. But let's just start it from scratch right here. No, she only for the ride. She just with me for the night. Baby, you don't gotta stay. I ain't even tryna fight. She gon' ride me like a bike. Doing everything I like. Know we all fall down sometimes. Baby, that's a part of life. I had enough of the sip. Tired of just prescription. Baby, I knew that you won't be the one, cause you acting like you ain't submissive. Can't let you fuck up the mission. Baby, I gotta go get it. And you know that this shit out the dome, cause I'm rapping the way that I'm feeling. All these thoughts in my head, tossing, turning in bed. I've been drowning them under the water. And these bitches don't know how to treat a good man. I've been swearing they don't got a father. And I promised myself if I ever had kids, I'ma put on for all of my daughters. And make sure that they always will see everything that a man supposed to be. Up, down, bad bitch, she wanna fuck now. No more time, girl, your luck's out. On my wrist, that's a bust down. Yeah, up now. Shawty, hope you know that I'm up now. Just got home, I was in my zone, guaranteed. Baby girl, we can fuck now. Wasn't really feeling you, I promise I'll be honest. Lately you been seeing no way that a nigga ballin'. Ice up on my body, now all of a sudden you been calling. Get the fuck up on my way, little bitch, you want it. No, she only for the ride. She just with me for the night. Baby, you don't gotta stay. I ain't even tryna fall. She gon' ride me like a bike. Doing everything I like. Know we all fall down sometimes. Baby, that's a part of life. All right, so that's basically the song. And even listening back to this mix, bro, I'm like, there's some things that I'll probably change on this. For example, one being the way I do, cause I changed the way I do my background vocals a lot. I got a whole new, you know what I'm saying, and my ad libs too. So, oh, this is some good information to know too. There's anything that you like about a mix you did previously, whether you did the ad libs or whatever about it. Go to import session data, and then it'll just bring up the last session. But you could go through your computer and find any session you've ever worked on, click on it, and then it'll open up. This is all of the shit that you have on your chain, on your template. And for me, the Vicodins, the song, the mix I did for Vicodins, I really love the way I did the ad libs on it. And I had a new background vocal vox that I set up. So I could just take those, import those effects straight into this session, and then obviously dial it to taste. Now, because I know this song is hella heavy on reverbs, I'm probably gonna put the background vocal vox at like a -17. And because I changed my ad lib vox up, I have the CLA vocals on the ad lib bus now. So what I'm gonna do is just remove. Ooh, shit! Just remove the CLA vocals off the actual ad-libs themselves and turn them down because I have it set up to where, you know, I could just turn the ad-libs themselves up a bit because the bus is mixed a bit better. So then now from there, I'm gonna just go and listen to this little part at the end, the backgrounds like it. And that's okay, I guess, for now. Like that's smooth. We'll get into that later. Um, and I also am peeping. I'm like, I feel like my vocals are a little bit quiet on here. So everything else looks good. Um, now before I start making modifications and everything, let's break down the template, the chain. Oh my god! And what I got on here, my bad. But so one, um, my tracks are all the same for the most part. Outside sometimes I throw this air chorus on here. I have a chorus send, but I don't have it on this template, which I can also import that from the method I showed you. But going into every session, all my tracks are lined up like this. I got an NS1 at the beginning just because I'm not in a fully treated room. You know, I don't have like a booth or nothing. I have at best my little eyeball and then my pop filter. And in some cases the eyeball can kind of, mess with your frequencies and stuff and like just the sound overall. So I tend to opt out of using it just to get better and just try to do post production and mix work to get rid of the little background noises. Um but that's what the NS1 is good for. Very good, solid plugin. Don't push it too hard. Like even this 25, I would say maybe is a little much, but because pushing it hard is starting to squash more than just background noise. But boom, immediately after that, we got a quick EQ. And this is one of my old EQs. This is just a subtractive EQ I had where it's literally just taking things out. Now, as I've gotten better, I've developed an EQ that's more fitted for my sound. And this one, I would probably prefer to just put, oh shit, put a little, like the 3K, boost a little bit because that usually sounds good. But other than that, this usually sounds very universal on most of my songs with my vocals because I've specifically modeled this EQ on my Pro Q3 to work with my mic. I have a TLM 103, so I specifically have looked up my mic's frequency range, everything in my UAD console. I've done all this stuff on my preamp to make it, as crispy as possible, so it's the most consistent sound I can achieve. Obviously, auto tune, and in some cases, people say, okay, well, the auto tune should go after the NS1 or before the EQ. It doesn't matter that much because I promise you guys it's not a huge difference. There's gonna be people that'll say, "Oh, it has to be this or it has to be this." Like, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, if your vocals sound good, your vocals sound good. So don't sit there, and think there's any right way to do this. Like I'm just telling you guys what works for me and what I've done in my experience. I've worked with Diamond holding engineers. I've worked with Grammy holding producers, bro. I've worked with a gentleman by the name of Rockstar. He is, I believe, one of Chris Brown's producers, and he produced one of Chris Brown's most popular albums. I worked with him for a brief little stint. The engineer that taught me, he goes by L. He's worked with Sway Lee. He has recording engineer credits on Unforgettable, Sway Lee and French Montana. He works with Young Money regularly. I've worked with people that have been in this industry for longer than me and have accolades. So, and then even then, some of this stuff is stuff that they didn't even teach me. This is like a mixture of things I've learned from them, along with sauce I've came up with myself or YouTube. Stuff just a combination of everything I've learned to really get to this point. So, don't take everything I say with a grain of salt. If you don't like it, cool, but this is what works for me. This is what has worked with plenty of other artists I've worked with. So boom. But anyways, outside of that, that's typically what's on my tracks. Obviously, you can see I have them labeled. I have a demon voice track, so that's just obviously auto tune with the transpose turned down just to add that little, effect. Telephone got the lows and the highs rolled, squashed just to make that telephone effect. Just very simple. I like my template to be a nice drag and drop, bro. I don't want to have to do too much to create. While I record, I got my hook track, two verse tracks, and then everything else is effects, and then obviously the double tracks with the left and right. So that's just to break down the quick little, and then on my beats, because I tend to use two tracks a lot, I just throw a little trim on there just to, get the beat around the range I want. And I use a limiter on all my beats because the trick I've learned is you put the output ceiling, and this one's actually extremely low. I mean, extremely low. But I put the output ceiling to around -3 and a threshold at -3 because it keeps the sound still, like, it doesn't squash my sound, but it also doesn't let the beat hit beyond that -3. And I really try to push as close to that as possible because it still leaves a decent amount of headroom for my vocals. And then I have two EQs on here, which one of them is just a sidechain EQ, and the other one is one I use for beats. This one is specifically to like carve space in beats. Sometimes I don't need this one, so I'll probably take that one off. And that's just obviously what the beat stuff has on it. And then obviously auto key just to get the tempo and everything. And then to my main Vox, we have my SSL channel. This is also universal for majority of my mixes. It has a little low end roll off on there up to 90 hertz. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. It is what it is. A slight bit of the compression in the dynamic range, a tiny boost in the highs, tiny boost in the high mids, cut in the low mids, and then I usually don't really touch the lows too much. I get more experimental with the lows by track. Got an RDSer just to get some of those S's and T's up out of there. My CLA 2A, can't go wrong with that, just to hit my, negative dB ranges where I want to get my peak reduction and everything at. Make sure my compression's hitting good. Silk Vocal for my dynamics. Now this plugin is really good for, getting your dynamics a bit more punchy. And as you can see, I got the mix knob turned down a little bit and the precision and everything. I got these settings set up to where it boosts my dynamics without overly affecting the mix. And you want to use it. So if you do use a silk vocal, you want to use this before saturation. Because then I use my saturation just to, pick where I want the mids or the highs a little bit more silky. Boom. And then my C6 I have here. Now, I have multiple C6s. I have literally C6s from L, the engineer I told you about. I have a direct copy of his C6 that he uses on most of his vocals. And I have one for me. This C6 I use is more so for control over my EQs and, some of those harsh frequencies. 'Cause I do, you know, compression on those a little bit to like bring them down. I don't know the exact term for it because I learned how to do this from another engineer, but I just use this to control the vocals a bit more, right? On my main Vox, I have an exciter just to, boost a little bit more. I have a mix Vox, which is a little bit of high end, a little bit of compression, and a little bit more EQ. Nothing too crazy. And this, I believe, it's like a really strong low roll off, but I promise you, it doesn't do as much crazy as it looks. Like if I mute it and unmute it, you're not gonna see a huge difference. It's just something I've thrown on there from some other sauce that kind of, with the fresh air, just brings a little bit more, I might turn this fresh air down a little bit actually because I'm using saturation and whatnot. Doubler, of course. Sidechain send just to make sure my sidechain is good, and then obviously the usual, the reverb, delays, and then the verb sidechain also is effect sidechain. My bad. It says verb sidechain, but it's just really the reverb, delay, everything. Just the sidechain. So I'm not getting too much bleed through. And then the vocal sidechain, which is connected to the beat. So, and then to break down what I got going on, I have a short verb one up here, but I don't use that one. I usually use the plate and the long verb. I have things that could be cleaned up, but you never know when you might need it. But on my plate, I always use a R verb. I use my time and pre-delay as the BPM describes it, and I have a little EQ set up on the EQ band here and some damping on it already set up the way I like it. Don't really touch that too much besides the time and pre-delay every song. I have a air stereo width just to, this is sauce. This adds a little bit of more to your reverb. And then at the end of that, I have my compressor, which is for the sidechain. So this is on all of these tracks connected to this send. So when it goes to the main Vox and all of the vocals are getting hit with the processing, this activates the sidechain, which, keeps everything the way I like it. Then I go with a long verb. I have a Valhalla vintage verb on that. These are the settings I have on this. Same thing as the plate with the, stereo width. Then I have my delays. I have little high pass, low pass on all of my delays. A little bit of feedback, not too much. I have a EQ on that, roll off some highs and lows just to, it's doing a little bit of the filter too, but just to keep it a little bit more clear and concise. And then I have a phaser, very, very low mix on that just to add a little bit more a little more character to the delay. Same thing on my other delay. And then I have a delay that's directly supposed to be a BPM delay. I don't use that one that much often either. Then I have my doubler. I have a little EQ on the doubler right here, as you can see. And then the doubler itself has an EQ, but I just roll a little bit of lows off and use the REQ here for that. I think I have a different version now. This is the old version of it, but yeah, and then I have a imager just so, just to add more, to the vocals. All of this is just to add more umps to the vocals. And then I have a dynamic thing over here. I haven't used that in a while. But my exciter has the Aphex vintage exciter. This gives you a little bit more, character to the vocals as well. So a compressor on there to control some of that, and then a de-esser just to keep everything tame. And that is basically all that's on my mixing track. We could go into the backgrounds, but the backgrounds are very simple. Auto-tune and I think a limiter. And on the ad-libs, auto-tune and a EQ, short roll-off. On the background vocal Vox, I have a EQ, de-esser, a C6, another RVox for compression, and then the CLA vocals with a vitamin boosted some frequencies there. And the background vocal thing, it comes and goes. I change it as I please because it really depends on the song. But the way I have it set up now, it works for me. And then my ad-lib Vox, I got an NLS channel. I got EQ on there, CLA vocals, and then just some saturation. And then I have another reverb and delay on here. And yes, I do have it with the CLA vocals because the thing with the CLA vocals is, as you can see, you can only get quarter, 8, and slaps on your delay. And I like the main thing I like the CLA for is realistically the pitch spreader and the reverb. So, and then also the treble thing, because I feel like it controls your sound a lot. And sometimes I want to add a little bit more of my own like reverb to taste from it. So that just keeps my ad-libs, sounding the way it is. And then that is a full breakdown of the mix. On my master chain, I always have an NLS bus, Pro Q3 with sides and mid sweeps on it just to, get some control in there. SSL comp. SSL comp is very excellent compressor. You always want to get like 2 to 3 dB of compression on this, usually for my masters. Yeah, that's usually what I run. My Saturn is on here, and should not be in that position, but I usually have actually, I usually do this as well. I do not have it on this one because, again, this is the old mix. I usually have a Duke Tech for like an 8 to 10K frequency, little boost on there. Just boost a little bit more in the mix, and then the Abbey Road, a little bit of a spreader to spread the master out, and then just a Pro L2 limiter, just to get everything where I want. And typically, let me see where the hook is sitting at. I'm gonna double check the LUFS.
You gon' ride me like a bike, doing everything I like. Know we all fall down sometimes, baby, that's a part of life. I had enough of the sip, tired of drug prescription. Baby, I knew that you won't be the one, cause you acting like you ain't submissive. Can't let you fuck up the mission. Baby, I gotta go get it. And you know that this shit out the dome, cause I'm rapping. rapping the way that I'm feeling. All these thoughts in my head, tossing, turning in bed. I've been drowning them under the water. And these bitches don't know how to treat a good man. I be swearing they don't got a father. And I promise myself if I ever had kids, I'ma put on for all of my daughters. And make sure that they always will see everything that a man supposed to be. Up, down, bad bitch, she wanna fuck now. No more time, great luck's out. On my wrist, that's a bust down.
Lately, I've been pushing my mixes to like -8, and a lot of people are, oh, -14, bro. Yes, you can do that, but I really don't care. Like at the end of the day, as long as everything sounds the right way, it don't matter. This is the thing. Stop letting people tell you what what's right, what's wrong. Because at the end of the day, with music, if it sounds good, it sounds good, bro. Like obviously, the only thing you should ever care about as an artist with your songs and your mixes is clarity. As long as your vocals sound clear, it's not inconsistencies, it's not any issues. Like people can properly hear what you're saying. Everything's leveled, like the beat and everything sounds good. That's all that matters, and it sounds good. Like everything doesn't have to be perfect. I learned being a perfectionist and sitting there and looking at everything from the perspective of some of these engineers that have high egos or producers that have that's gonna limit your craft as an artist. I'm an artist first, always gonna be an artist first. So yes, I can engineer at a high level. I've learned from high level people, and there's much more things I can do and technicalities to it. But I don't care to do that. I care to get my music out the way I want my music to sound out as quick as possible. Because this chain is made specifically for me and my workflow. I've used this chain on other artists as well, and I've had no complaints. I've literally had artists be in sessions with me and ask me for this template. Like, man, my voice sounds so much better on this, man. Can I get your template? Ooh. Hey, link in the bio if you guys want the template. But I mean, hey, you guys can hear for yourself. It sounds pretty good. Like this is like one of my favorite songs that I've mixed and mastered. You know, only thing I'm hearing now as I'm listening to it again, like maybe the vocals could be boosted a little bit more. But that's a quick fix.
She only for the ride. She just with me for the night. Baby, you don't gotta stay. I ain't even tryna fight. She gon' ride me like a bike. Doing everything I like. Know we all fall down sometimes. Baby, that's a part of life. I had enough of this sip. Tired of drugs prescription. Baby, I knew that you wouldn't be the one. Cause you acting like you ain't submissive. Can't let you fuck up the mission. Baby, I gotta go get it. And you know that this shit out the dome. Cause I'm rapping the way that I'm feeling. All these thoughts in my head, tossing, turning in bed. I've been drowning them under the water. And these bitches don't know how to treat it.
You see, I have that -3, but it's not even like fully hitting that. That means I could push my beat a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't feel. I like mixing my shit loud. Like, I don't know. Like, I listen to it back on the speakers. I like mixing it loud and clear. And I really heard the clarity of my mixes when I've been in my friend's car that I'm in my band with, because he has a newer, I believe, Kia, and his sound system is really good. And I'm listening to my mix in this car, I'm like, oh, my vocals and everything sounds really concise. Everything sounds good. Because I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of janky stuff. Like my music equipment is good. Like these headphones are relatively new, speakers are new. But like outside, like I don't have my own car yet. My mom's car is okay, but it doesn't have, the best sound system. And then my AirPods are borderline fucked up because the bass in the right ear is like off, and I've had things for years. So I don't really have a good consistent thing to always reference my mixes in outside of these expensive headphones, these speakers. So when I get with my friend, I can listen in his car. I'm like, oh, I can like hear my mixes much better. So I'm working on getting my car soon, hopefully with some more videos and stuff. You guys will help me get there. But for the most part, I double check my mixes before anything drops. And this is an old song. This is one of my favorite songs. This is something from years ago. I added a couple new things to it, but this is basically what I do. And this is like, for the most part, coming into a song, starting the session up, I don't touch anything. Starting the session up, I come in, record, I already got my levels set up, everything's always set up. At most, I'm touching these EQs, and then I'm dragging and dropping. Maybe fucking around with the auto-tune a bit. And then for the most part, the main Vox doesn't get touched. I already have everything set up to presets. I might touch the compressor a tiny bit just to see, because every song is different, so you might need a bit more peak reduction, a bit less. Everything else, like as far as the SSL channel, the de-esser, the silk vocal, The Saturn, depending on the song, may get touched a little bit, just the taste for saturation. But my template is really set up to be a real plug and play. Like you don't have to do too much. The only things you have to really touch are the things that you want to touch to taste. Like on a base level, going into this template, as long as your headphones and your microphone are set up properly, everything's like at proper levels, you could just plug and play and shit is smooth. And then also one more thing before I finish this full mix and master breakdown. Um, on my UAD console, I have the Neve 1084, and then I have the TubeTech plugin going into it. So I do have really good, processing going into recording, which also has made my chain that much easier to work with because I don't have to, do a lot of extra stuff once I get onto my Pro Tools. It's just very minor. And I have even newer songs that'd be good explanations of that. But I think because this is older, I'm not gonna do it this video, but next video I'll do a breakdown of one of my newer songs, and I'll do it in depth of the plugins and what the idea was behind everything and like what I do to achieve. And I'll do like some bypassing, just so you can hear the difference with and without. But yeah, as of right now, that's basically you know like a good explanation of how I do it. And if you guys decide to purchase my template, um it sounds, trust me, it sounds good because I've also used this template outside of my setup without the UAD. I've used it on a Scarlett interface with a like around similar level mic, and I can't promise with every single mic is gonna sound amazing, but with the plugins and the knowledge of how to use the plugins, you're gonna get a pretty decent quality mix out of this template. And I'm constantly improving it. So I mean, this month's template might be different from next month's. And the template I have linked is like not the base template, but it's the main template that I've built off of. So it's not much things different. So as you guys watch my tutorials and stuff, if you decide to get the template for your Pro Tools and want to learn, just watch my videos and you see things I do differently. And you see as I change and add new sauce, and you can maybe steal that yourself. Like, oh, let's see, Tavian did a new, let's what he did on his new song. I like that. Let's see. Oh, he posted a breakdown. Let me go see that. And then watch me and learn how I use the template. A lot of things is you have to understand the plugins, and I feel like a lot of people in these tutorials don't really explain everything in depth. So my whole thing with selling a template is, one, I'm not trying to charge arm and leg and be like a course dude, because the course part of it is free. The course part is this channel. So, you know, and you guys watching me mix and watch these sessions, if you have my template, I know how my template works. So, and then even if you don't have some of the plugins, for example, bro, I'd be more than willing to, mix some stuff if you send it to me. Now, depending on how frequent that is, I mean, I technically do charge for mixing, but you know, for maybe if I use your song for a video, for example, maybe I'll give you like a discount or something of that nature. We'll get to that when it comes to it, and it comes to obviously supply and demand. I have a job too. I still work a regular job to pay my bills, so I don't have time to sit and mix everything for free. At least I have responsibilities, so I'll try to do that when I can. And I'm not like trying to be money hungry, but I'll let you guys know and make announcements about it. And you know, I with my experience, I do have like a set rate I usually charge for, but for people that I'm trying to be budget friendly with or like beginners, we can negotiate some stuff. So just let me know and we'll figure it out. But yeah, that's basically a breakdown of the mix and master of life. And that should be streaming on all platforms now. I'll maybe leave a link to that, or I'll just leave a link to my Spotify in general down there. You can find me on all streaming platforms under the same name, Tavian, with the 13 instead of the IE. And yeah, appreciate you guys for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, share for more, and let me know in the comments what you guys want to see next. Like, we can still, there's so much things I can teach you guys and things we can go in depth on. Like, there's so much more like auto tune knowledge, de-essing, compression, just everything. Like, just even reverb itself, you know. So just let me know what you guys are thinking, and I will continue to make videos. And even if you guys can come up with something, I'm pretty sure I can. So that's just where we're gonna leave that at, and appreciate everybody for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.